Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Oldham County Fiscal Court. I'm Judge Executive David Vogel. We're happy to have you here today on the 20th of April, 2021. You have a pardon?
Oh, your mic's on.
My mic, is it on? Hello? On with the red. Is it on or off with the red?
Mine's good. My mic's good. Blowing it.
1, 2.
Closer to it, Judge.
Need to get a little closer. Okay.
Better.
Okay. Happy to have you here today. If you brought a cell phone with you, please turn it to off or vibrate. Now I'll ask everyone who's able to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Happy to have all of you here with us today. We're not on Channel 184 live as we are sometimes, but we are recording today's meeting on a new camera system, and we hope that it all works out okay because this is our maiden voyage with the camera and microphone system and so forth. So I'd like to ask our clerk now, Denise Clark, to please call the roll.
Magistrate Likens.
Here.
Magistrate Tice. Magistrate Harrison.
Here.
Magistrate Greenwell.
Here.
Magistrate Hounds. Here. Magistrate Hawkins.
Here.
Magistrate Dye.
Here.
Magistrate Logston. Judge Vogel.
Having all members of the fiscal court present, this meeting is now in session. Is there a motion to accept the agenda?
Second.
Are there any additions to the agenda? Did we, when I ask Kevin, did we add the, okay, we're not going to add that, okay. All right, so nothing else. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries, thank you. Now, Denise, will you please read the minutes from April 6th?
The Oldham County Fiscal Court convened at a regular meeting at 2 p.m. with Judge Executive David Vogel, County Attorney John Carter, and the following magistrates in attendance: Brent Likens, Wayne Tice, Albert Harrison, Steve Greenwell, Chris Hounds, Stephanie Hawkins, and Bob Dye. Magistrate Michael Logston was absent. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the agenda as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Logston to approve the meeting minutes from March 16, 2021, with the correction of the Westport zip code to 40077 in the public comment section on page 295 as submitted. Motion carried 7-1 with Magistrate Likens abstaining. Matt Rhodes, Director of Public Health for the Oldham County Health Department, provided an update on the status of COVID-19 in the community and the COVID-19 phased vaccine campaign for Oldham County. Lori Ann Roberts, Advisory Board Chair of the Oldham County Community Foundation, and Ben Southworth, Program Director of Glean Kentucky, presented information about the Glean Kentucky program, which gathers and redistributes excess fresh fruits and vegetables to nourish Kentucky's hungry. In 2020, grant money from Oldham County Fiscal Court was allocated to Oldham County Community Foundation for assistance in funding a workplace development program, Kentuckiana Works. However, due to the pandemic, $12,500 of that grant money was suspended and never spent. OCCF and Glean Kentucky are requesting 3 years of grant funding, using the $12,500 remaining from 2020 for year 1 and requesting $10,000 each year for years 2 and 3. Discussion followed. It was determined the request would be presented at the Human Resources Grants and Technology Committee meeting on April 20th, 2021. Kim Buckler-Hides, Executive Director of Oldham County Tourism, provided an update on the status of tourism in Oldham County. Jailer Mike Simpson presented the proposed fiscal year 21-22 budget for the jail. The following bids were opened and read aloud for the spring paving projects, and then given to the county engineer for review and recommendation. Group 1 County, Hall Contracting, Louisville, $484,846.93. Libs Paving, Floyd Knobs, Indiana, $438,648.29. Louisville Paving, Louisville, $373,145.55. Flynn Brothers Louisville, $439,981.44. Riverside Paving, Louisville, $511,000, $208,888.58. Wingham Paving, Charlestown, Indiana, $507,275.94. Group 2, Crestwood, Hall Contracting, Louisville, Kentucky, $104,149. Lips Paving, Floyd Knobs, Indiana, $90,272.16. Louisville Paving, Louisville, Kentucky, $87,979.15. Flynn Brothers, Louisville, Kentucky, $98,287,76. Riverside Paving, Louisville, Kentucky, $98,863. Wingham Paving, Charlestown, Indiana, $99,822.84. Group 3, Peewee Valley, Libs Paving, Floyd Knobs, Indiana, $20,227.16. Louisville Paving, Louisville, Kentucky, $22,461.06. Flynn Brothers, Louisville, Kentucky, $23,658. Riverside Paving, Louisville, Kentucky, $17,276.56. Wingham Paving, Charlestown, Indiana, $19,372.52. Group 4, LaGrange, Hall Contracting, Louisville, Kentucky, $124,566. Libs Paving, Floyd Knobs, Indiana, $118,337.70. Louisville Paving, Louisville, Kentucky, $103,309.93. Flynn Brothers, Louisville, Kentucky, $121,052.60. Riverside Paving, Louisville, Kentucky, $134,148. Wingham Paving, Charlestown, Indiana, $121,212.30. The following bids were opened and read aloud for the code enforcement half-ton pickup truck and then given to the Deputy Judge Executive for review and recommendation. Champion Chevrolet, $30,724. Oxmoor Ford, $32,080.28. Motion made by Magistrate Hawkins and seconded by Magistrate Dye to take a short recess beginning at 3:58 p.m. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Hawkins to resume the meeting at 4:11 p.m. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to authorize payment of the payables as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Dye to surplus the AOC building contents and structure as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Hawkins to authorize the Judge Executive to sign the contract with Timberlake Auction Services to auction the contents of the AOC building with an auctioneer's fee in the amount of 20% for the first $70,000 in gross sales and 10% for anything above $70,000 in sales as submitted. Discussion followed. Motion carried unanimously. Hayden Candle, Community and Economic Development Specialist from KIPTA, Kentuckiana Regional Planning and Development Agency, provided an overview of the CDBG Community Development Block Grant for Coronavirus Utility Relief Assistance application process and described how the emergency relief program will work. Judge Executive Vogel opened the floor to public comment. There being none, the public hearing was closed. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to authorize the Judge Executive to sign Resolution Number 01-04-06-21, approving Oldham County Fiscal Court to apply for a Community Development Block Grant that will help cover utility, water, sewer, electric, gas, other energy sources for heating and cooling, payments for residents of Oldham County who have been financially impacted by COVID-19 and who are in danger of having their utilities disconnected due to the inability to make payment as submitted. Discussion followed. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Tice to release the erosion control bond in the amount of $15,000 for the City Place 2nd Avenue parking lot project as submitted. Discussion followed. Motion carried unanimously. County Engineer Jim Silliman presented his recommendation for the County Spring Paving Project's bid award. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to award the bid for the County Spring Paving Projects to Louisville Paving in the amount of $373,145.55 as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Hawkins and seconded by Magistrate Likens To approve the Aquatic Center Supervisor, Recreation Program or job description as a replacement of the former Aquatic Center Supervisor position as submitted. Discussion followed. Motion carried unanimously. Personnel actions, police. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Dye to hire Alexander Sadich as a 4-year lateral patrol officer at a base rate of $23.64 an hour, effective 4/19/2021 as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Dye to hire Morgan Roberts as a 5-year lateral police officer at a base rate of $25.06 an hour, effective 4/19/2021 as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to award the bid for the code enforcement half-ton pickup truck to Champion Chevrolet in the amount of $30,724,000 as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Hayden Candle announced that Oldham County Fiscal Court will be responsible for setting up the non-interest-bearing checking account. The utilities company will place a notice on the bills to advertise the assistance program, and Ms. Candle agreed to provide language for a newspaper ad. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried unanimously. The meeting adjourned at 5:13 p.m.
You heard the reading of our minutes from April 6th. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? Magistrate Dye.
Judge, I think I mentioned this one time. It's been some time back, but on page 298, where we had the bid openings on the spring paving projects, I'm not saying that we change this one, but in future, could we put a line in there that the other groups 2, 3, and 4, Pee Wee Valley, LaGrange, and Crestwood, to make sure that people see this, that these monies are not coming out, are not being paid by the fiscal court, that these are paid by the individual entities. You know, someone that's new to the community or someone that doesn't follow it closely enough to see the awarding, how that works out. So you might, people can say, well, you know, I'm paying my taxes, but why is the county paying my roads? So I don't know if that's
Well, Group 3 was for, we bid that for Pee Wee Valley. Group 4 was for LaGrange.
the service we do for them, but I just want to say that make sure that people understand where that money's coming from.
All right, thank you. Are there any other corrections or additions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Time now for the first item on our agenda today, and that is an economic development report and also a status update on Oldham County Reserve. We welcome David Bazanis, Oldham County Chamber Economic Development Director, and also, I guess, Executive Director of Oldham Reserve. Is that your correct title there, David?
So,
Would you hang on just a second here? You're the first opportunity here to get this new technology to work.
great. I'm glad to be a guinea pig here. Hopefully I'm not going to break those cameras.
I don't think you will.
I got it. Okay.
Hang on just a second.
Sure. We're good? All right, let me open this up. I have some video to show here, so hopefully it's going to cooperate with me in my presentation. So if you give me 1 minute. Okay, great. Well, thank you. Good afternoon, Judge Vogel, magistrates, Ms. Clark, Mr. Carter. Thank you for inviting me to provide an update on the Oldham Reserve project that we are working on. My name is David Bazanis. I am the president of Oldham Chamber and Economic Development. I'm here today with my colleague Sandy Hamilton from the Chamber, and excited to offer an update on the progress at Oldham Reserve. Just a reminder for people at home, Oldham Reserve is a 1,000-acre mixed-use development that's intended to have high-end office, flex manufacturing, residential, and be a complete live, work, and play community here in Oldham County. The Oldham Reserve project is overseen by a board of directors referred to as the Oldham LaGrange Development Authority. Those board members very talented group of professionals led by Jim Tutt as the chairman, Magistrate Bob Dye. Our treasurer is Fred Tolsdorf. In addition, Stephen Edwards, George Flickner, and John Stewart are all on this board. This board's made up of 3 appointees from the city of LaGrange and from Oldham County Fiscal Court, and is responsible for the development and the oversight of the project. In 2013, the board of directors partnered with John Hollenbach, Greg Oakley, and Talmadge Hawker, and Chris George, their attorney, who has formed an entity called OR Partners, and they serve as the master developer for the park. They're responsible for the development and the marketing of the park. And then, as I mentioned before, myself, Sandy Hamilton, our office manager at the chamber, Heidi Ockeltree, serve as the staff for this project. In addition to that, the Oldham board has a relationship with Attorney Jeff Adamson to serve as counsel. The point of the park is very simple and very important. The goals are very basic, but very substantial. And that is to diversify our tax base, to create quality, sustainable jobs, and to improve our local infrastructure. And make no doubt about it, Oldham Reserve, the 1,000-acre business park that we have here, is the #1 job-creating asset in our community. Our top employer, as you know, is located in the park. The Rawlings Group moved into Oldham Reserve in 2006 with 500 employees. Since that time, they've added over 1,100 jobs, high-paying jobs to our community. They've built a 245,000 square foot Class A office, employ over 1,650 people at an average salary of $67,000 to $77,000 a year, and contribute millions of dollars in tax revenue to the county and the city of LaGrange. The success of the Rawlings Group has also provided some challenges for the development of Oldham Reserve. The initial infrastructure that went in the park was enough to support 500 employees, but adding an additional 1,100 was something that was not really foreseen in the time frame that was developed. It wasn't until 2015 that the Louis Dampier Bridge was constructed, and in 2018 that LaGrange Parkway was constructed, that actually allowed for access to the backside of the 1,000 acres for development. And even still, it wasn't until this body and the city of LaGrange, the city council of LaGrange, agreed to extend Eden Parkway to connect into LaGrange Parkway that we were really in business with some developable acreage past where Rawlings was. And true to form, and because of those investments that were made, we were able to land the next user for Oldham Reserve in Trilogy Healthcare. On the slide here, you can see this is a facility located in Stony Brook in Louisville. It's a very nice Class A assisted living facility that has will be an 85,000 square foot facility, will bring 125 jobs at an average salary of $50,000 a year. And in addition to this purchase of the 6.77 acres, you can see on the map on our slide, there is an option to purchase an additional 3 acres to put a villa concept along the border there that Oldham Reserve shares with Eagle Creek Golf Course. So we can see a lot of investments that the city has made in the municipal golf course with the sand traps that have been done there. They spent a lot of money there. They've really beautified the course. And then this court and the city's investment in Oldham Reserve to create a place for more development has brought us a really nice assisted living facility and a great amenity for aging seniors in Oldham County, in addition to contributing to the tax base substantially, similar to how the Rawlings Group has. Also on this slide, you'll see, I'm going to use my mouse here to direct a little bit of it. This is the Eden Parkway that runs north and south, and the southern extension of Eden Parkway is what is scheduled to be completed, I believe, in June. But because of the purchase of the 6.7 acres by the Trilogy Healthcare Project, the land sales for that have gone to almost completely fund the extension or the creation of East Peak Road and the extension of the utilities down this way. Oldham County Fiscal Court and the city of LaGrange had to come in and add some additional funds to complete this road, and the result is such that now we have an additional 50 acres of developable land that's right at a really great part of the property. So now we can get through the property, and we have property we can show and lots to sell and jobs being grown. Just to give you a sense of the magnitude, the two road projects are supposed to be completed. I think East Peak Road is somewhere towards the beginning of June, and Eden Parkway should be somewhere in the middle of June. Those are deliverables for the park so that the Trilogy project can move forward. Trilogy would start construction at the next point. I have a video that Russ Rose from Oldham County Water provided us, did a great drone video. This is, I don't know if all of you have seen this yet. And this is about a 28-minute video that I can send to you if you don't have it. And I can, I'm gonna move through this a little bit quickly here, just to give you a sense of the magnitude of work that's going on right now. As we're approaching Eden Parkway from the north, this is New Moody Lane going off here. And of course you have the Rawlings facility right here. I'm going to speed up. You can get to where Eden Parkway will intersect with Peak Road. This will be a roundabout. The drone here is going to continue down. You can see all the dirt that's being moved for Eden Parkway, connect into LaGrange Parkway, and then it's going to turn us around. Now we're at the back of Eden Parkway, and we're going back up north, up Eden Parkway, and right around here you can see this is where the roundabout will be. You can see Rawlings in the distance, then there'll be a right turn for East Peak Road. This is lot 20A that is not yet sold, and then 20B next to that is where Trilogy will be developing. I'm going to get down here where the drone turns around. Okay, now this is at the end of East Peak, and it's going to turn around. That's Cherrywood subdivision right there. And this is heading west down East Peak Road. So the roundabout would be here. Eden Parkway runs to the south this way. You can have Rawlings over here on the right, and then this is East Peak Road as we approach the new roundabout. Trilogy Healthcare would be located here, 85,000 square foot, and then the 3 acres along Eagle Creek Golf Course for the villa concept is around this part. You can see a lot of earthwork moving there, a lot of silt fencing. There's a lot of environmental concerns that we have to make sure we maintain, and the board is very active in staying on top of those types of aspects of the project that can be pretty tedious to deal with. So I'm going to move on past that. And again, I can provide that video to you if you have not seen it. It's great. We'll be posting it on our website. I think the moral of the story here is that infrastructure development leads to better development. And we have known that for a while, and it is an important aspect for every community to be making investments in the future development of the community. But in addition to this project and over $1.8 billion that have been invested in the widening of I-71, there's an additional almost $70 million of internal road projects in the county that have gone to support business development. Many of those roads either already open or under construction around Oldham Reserve. And on this right side of this slide is an excerpt from an article that was written in Business First about the projects going on in Oldham County. That is a very impressive list of road improvements and has created a lot of interest in our community. In June of 2020, Business First did a Corridors of Opportunity article, feature article, where they mentioned that Oldham County is the next economic development juggernaut. They promoted our infrastructure projects, those road projects I just listed, and the amenity growth we've had. They also promoted, in addition to Oldham Reserve, the Chlor Station project that is, of course, a major project for our county at Exit 14. In February, WDRB did a lead story on the Oldham County road projects that are expected to drive the business growth. They were on site in Oldham Reserve talking about our project. It was a wonderful featurette. And in addition to the public speaking events that we try to take advantage of any chance we have, we also are marketing a lot of our properties through oldhamsites.com. Our strategy with oldhamsites.com is significant, and the reason I continue to put this bullet point, these numbers here, is because for the investment we're making in marketing dollars, the investment should be able to grow as we are able to qualify the types of leads that come through our website service. So you can see in 2018 and 19, I reported that we had 6,500 people that clicked on properties that were in Oldham County, either commercial or industrial land properties. We have a feed that only lists the properties in Oldham County, and we get to see who comes through there. So they didn't come to a website to find out where, if we had bourbon and horses or find out anything. They literally were looking for land or buildings, and they came through the website. We market these ads and gear and target keywords specific to commercial and industrial development. And as a result, we were able to refine what words we try to market for. And over the course of time, you'll see that we've been able to increase the amount of traffic. Also, the interest, the announcements on the roads, the news stories contribute a lot to people's interest. So you can see we've had almost 10,000 visits to that website through those ads in the last year. And then probably our most effective tool in being able to sell this project and other aspects of the county for business development are in-person meetings that our team make on a regular basis. In addition to presenting to CBRE, JLL, Cushman & Wakefield, and all of our local brokerage community, Sandy Hamilton and I have been on multiple trips to Cincinnati. We had a trip to Nashville planned that was cut short because of COVID. And since we've been in a Zoom world, we have been a lot more prolific with doing a lot of GIS presentations via Zoom. So we're excited about the energy and the interest that we have been able to generate with these projects. One project leads to another. Bulldozers moving dirt looks great. It tells people that we're ready for business. And I think we're starting to see the fruits of that labor. So kudos to this group for sticking to the vision of the park. We have been in the last 2 months on site with OR Partners, visiting with an IT company who's considering Oldham Reserve that represents 300 high-paying jobs. We've met with medical device and services companies, fast casual restaurants, and even have a conversation about a sports complex as a potential fit for the development. Another part that I would like to mention is that the residential component of the master plan is still a very important part of this plan, and there could be opportunities in the future to have some housing in the development that would aid our top employer in the Rawlings Group as they bring their 1,600 people back to work, and provide some opportunities for amenity growth, restaurant growth, and some of those types of things that the park's also intended for. The elephant in the room is what is the future of office development. And we're in a post-COVID world. We have been working closely with office brokerage community, have had regular meetings, attending a lot of seminars, and the consensus right now in our region is that while we believe there's a lot of opportunity for people as they're going to be moving out into rural areas in the post-COVID world, that we could have a short-term win. But however, currently most brokerages are saying they're not seeing any movement because the office is still in flux due to the way the schools have worked out for a lot of employers. So not knowing what exactly the employers or when the employees are going to be able to get back to a normal school schedule has made the employers sit and wait. You also have people who are leasing properties and landlords that don't want to have vacancies, so they're extending terms, and it really is kind of an opportunity for people to get a deal to stay where they are. We are actively promoting that we have a high quality of life and we have a great home for business here. I think that we're going to see gradually over time the migration of people will increase from the civic area in Louisville, and I do think that our park is positioned, especially with the investment that Mr. Rawlings has made in this community and with his facility, with what Trilogy is investing in this community and with their facility, that it promotes more of those high quality developments. I believe that is all I have. So with that, I appreciate your time and your listening, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask David? Magistrate Dye.
Thank you, David. As being on the board, I just want to throw a thank you to David and his staff. Even though we are now supposedly entering the post-COVID world, I can say for quite assurance that nothing slowed down on the Oda project. We were moving right along with not only with his staff, but the staff here with the county government, the engineers, the planning and development. We've been meeting by Zoom, and we have construction meetings and such. But things have been moving forward, and I guess if anything, David's sort of the glue that puts it all together. And the other thing is, this is not your only job, right? What else do you do over there at that building?
We do a lot of things. They all intertwine. So.
the
Director of the chamber as well, yes.
and
Economic development, yes, for the whole county. Yeah.
he has several hats he has to wear, and I can't believe he's still got all that hair, taking those hats off and on. But I would have to say the one thing that David's brought to the to the advertising or promotion of this park is his dogged, I guess that's a good word, way of saying that we need to move away from print media. He proved that with the Google ads, the way that they done, because in the Google ads, people are coming to your site. A printed, nice, slick, 5-color process magazine, which I'm not knocking the print industry at all. Sometimes those get mailed, you'll get into somebody's office and it's on a desk, and then it goes to that desk and that desk, and finally ends up on a coffee table in the lobby. So does it really prove or add anything to it? But I think that with that alone, you've upped our game, and when you said the office, we've discussed this. I'm surprised you didn't touch on this a little bit, but this is just not office building. You know, we have flex buildings too, which is not just an quote office building as you see when you go to the doctor's office. It's all slick paneling, shiny floors, and 14 elevators. So. But anyway, David, you've done a great job, and I've always enjoyed working with you and your staff. And Sandy, you're back here someplace. I see you hiding. And so, but anyway, thank you.
Magistrate Greenwell.
Thank you. David, can you expound a little bit on what office buildings might look like in the future now that they've had a taste of COVID? And I mean, I realize Trilogy probably isn't going to change much, but would another business like Rawlings build the same building today?
Well, that's a great question, and it's a complicated answer, and I love complicated answers. So I would say, well, first of all, Trilogy actually did have to change their footprint a bit, and that did end up delaying the project a little bit because they had to change how many people were occupying rooms. So this has affected everyone. The topography of Oldham Reserve doesn't leave much space for large 300,000 square foot facilities. So for Mr. Rawlings to have almost 250,000 square foot, you know, there's only so many places we'll be able to put something that large. What the property does for us, I think, is lends itself to some of the 60 to 100,000 square foot office. And I believe smaller office might be a little bit of what's in the future. I really don't think that everybody's going to go to a remote working scenario. I think a lot of businesses are able to do that. If you have cubicle farms, you know, that can lend itself to being able to be effective a few days a week from a home. But I think that there are a lot of people that prefer to be in office, and that a lot of employers who want to have people in an office. So I don't really think we've seen really what changes are really going to happen. I think what we have to do is continue to focus on real basic fundamentals, not worry about this global change, be aware of it, try to pivot as we can. But the fundamentals go down to how easy is it for somebody to come into our community and purchase a good piece of property and be up and running in about a year to 2 years. And so everywhere where we have put that emphasis, we have seen success and we've gotten more interest. So I don't know if that completely answers your question, but I think that this is something that, because we don't have a lot of existing buildings also that we're trying to fill, which can be frustrating sometimes, you know, the design of the future is going to be really around a employee-centric type of an office environment.
Magistrate Tice.
The two roads we've got going in, Eden Parkway, how long or just when do you think we'll be able to drive on it? And the other one is, what is it, East?
Yes.
When do you think we'll be able to drive on those?
My understanding, and I think it's not been delayed, it's been pushed just a little bit, but towards the end of May is East Peak. No, towards the end of May is Eden, and towards mid-June was going to be East Peak.
We're almost there on both.
Almost there, that's right.
We're not doing any West Peak right now, are we?
Right. I believe there's some discussion about preliminary engineering.
Approved to do some of that, if I'm not mistaken. We just are committed to lay asphalt at this point.
Also, I'd like to, this is something that's a good point to make. You know, we often come to you and try to push for more road investment and infrastructure, even within the park. It helps make our job a little bit easier. But it's not that easy to just build the road. An example would be if we had designed East Peak Road prior to getting the Trilogy site and actually constructed it, the design of the road would not have allowed for the 3 acres to create the villas along Eagle Creek Golf Course. So when you see the design of that road, you can actually see where they kind of bumped it up a little bit just so they could fit those villas in along the golf course. So there is something to be said about let's get major infrastructure in where it needs to be, but be willing to be, I guess, adapt to the different types of users that might come in.
Magistrate Hounds.
You brought this up, I was thinking about as you were talking. Can we do some kind of advertising on 71 to push to say, we've got this business park? I don't know how many people are driving like they were before. I mean, I know I have friends of mine that travel between here and Cincinnati for work on a regular basis. And it would just seem like that maybe we should try to put something on 71 in the area to say, look, we've got this Class A office park. Maybe somebody that's driving back and forth between Louisville and Cincinnati will say, hey, maybe we should build our facility in Oldham County so I'm not driving back and forth between Cincinnati and Louisville. But that corridor would seem like there's a lot of traffic that comes up and down 71, we know. Just something to think about. I'll give Magistrate Tice credit for that.
I think that's a good idea, and it's certainly an opportunity. The master developer of the park had presented a signage. It did not include a billboard, and I do believe there are some sign rules on billboards that might complicate it a little bit. But the master developer did present a mixture of signage for the development that we need to press on to see what the status of that is. I think that could be good. I do think one thing we have to be careful of is that we are also part of regional partnerships that have agreed not to take projects from one another. The state of Kentucky doesn't incent a company to move from one county to another county because the state doesn't necessarily win on that. So there is an element of playing fair, as we don't want them to come and try to take some of our employers from us. But I'm saying that because I'm on camera. But our office is actively looking for every single opportunity we can have to get people in the park. And I do think signage could contribute to that, sure.
People that are driving back and forth that are using I-71 with the new bridge. So we may be getting some Indiana folks that may be making that trek. It just, why not?
I think it's a good idea.
Get out to 6 lanes, it'll be helpful. And the problem out there is the topography is not exactly friendly to having you see the office park from the road. I mean, the park is elevated above the road. We'd have to take out a lot of trees along the I-71 south side. We've talked to the highway department about that previously, and I understand what you're saying. We almost have to put a billboard up or electronic or something up higher than the trees that can be seen from a distance.
We ask for the trees, and then we can get the turnaround at the same time.
Yeah, right. I know. That's
I think that just, and I'm just going to play devil's advocate at risk in front of you guys. To Magistrate Dye's point about print, all print is not bad. It just depends on what your strategy is. And I kind of feel like signage is very close to this too. We can take a Class A business park and kind of put too much signage on it. The deals and the conversations related to these deals for this project and all the other projects really boil down to personal relationships through networking with people. The people that do these deals and develop multi-million-dollar facilities are actively looking for spots, and they're way past the billboard. So while I think it could catch some employers, and definitely, CFOs make a lot of the decisions when it comes to relocating businesses, and we have a lot of those types of individuals here in Oldham County that are stuck on I-71 every day. I think it certainly can contribute. But, the way we look at that is we think of signage as kind of a bonus. When I look at what's the cost of that signage going to be, there might be other things that we say, well, maybe we could spend that money to do these things and actually get a little bit more of those personal audiences. So I think it's a balance, but again, I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate there. But I will, at my next visit, I will follow up on that conversation with you to let you know where that is from the board's point.
The puzzle is, I can look at the magistrates that are up here. Some of us embrace different brands of technology, and everybody has different senses, and that we may just appeal to somebody else's sense. I mean, that, I don't know, it just,
Right. Yes.
it's driving up and down 71 as I have the past couple of weeks and getting stuck a couple of times. But that corridor is highly traveled in the mornings. And then with the bridge, I do think we're getting traffic coming across. Well, I know we are, because you can watch them come across 265 and turn up 71 and head up that corridor. And those are Indiana people, which are the ones you want to bring over, right?
Right.
Okay.
Magistrate Harrison.
David, as far as the signage, the only place with high visibility is from southbound I-71, and we're on the other side. But still, you've got one great sign location in there. Maybe we can take advantage of that with big arrows pointing across.
Mm-hmm.
But most people coming south, at some point, they're going to go north. But I've looked and looked and looked, and as the judge was saying, with the trees and the topography, it'd take a monster sign on our side to get anybody's attention, because by the time you can actually see it, you're out of the vector that you have, that you're supposed to be looking through the windshield
Yes.
over here.
Yes.
So, but I would encourage them to look on that other side.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it, David. Good job. And Sandy, thank you for being here today. I would just add sort of a supplement to what you've said. The economic development group that we work with along the 5 counties up I-71, we just on April 15th launched a new website. We paid a pretty good amount of money to have the site developed. Our information is in that site, along with Henry, Carroll, not Trumbull, but Gallatin and Owen counties. And we hope it's successful. And I know that you're interfacing with them to use the information on that site to help get leads for us as well as our site. And then as far as the other thing about residential space in Oldham Reserve, I'm not, opposed to it unilaterally, other than to say that we have to be very careful about it. Retirement community type of thing, the villages or something like that, I think would be helpful here. There are people who want to retire and move into a nice facility. Something, however, that would force the community to have more kids and have to build 1 or 2 new schools. I think we'd have to think hard about that before we went down that line.
Sure.
That'd just be my opinion. And I do know there's at least one retirement-oriented facility trying to talk to us right now. So,
okay.
Thank you.
Great. Right. Thank you.
Time now for the next item on our agenda is public comment. That's the time during the meeting when anyone who would like to address the fiscal court can do so about any item of community interest. And we allow up to 4 minutes of discussion. So, we welcome our Emergency Services Director, Jerry Nart, and have a rough idea of what you're going to talk about, and it's going to create a overnight problem here for the weekend. So.
The overhead working for people in the audience?
Yes. How about that?
I have a couple items, actually, Judge. The first one is correct. This Friday and Saturday evening, what you have in front of you is a map of the detour, because I-71 South and I-71 North will be completely shut down on 2 separate days from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Northbound on Friday evening, southbound on Saturday evening or night, if you will. This is to take down the old Brownsboro Road Bridge over 71, and they have to have total closure in order to do that on one or the other side of the lane of the highway. The detour you see is what they have provided. Exit 1422, exit 14 on the Highway 329 bypass. We'll talk about that in a minute. To 22 down to the Snyder, and they can pick up 71 from the Snyder from that point on, north and southbound, when they do it consequently. Now, this is all well and good for us with our maps here, living in Kentucky, living in Oldham County. When the word gets out to the motoring public, the commercial traffic motoring public, if you will, their GPSs are going to start trying to take them elsewhere. I'm not going to say the words, but we just maybe ought to be prepared for a couple of, I'm sorry, I didn't say that. But they don't necessarily have the maps, so to know that not to go over that crossing, or if they try to come up Old 329 and make a hard right-hand turn down 22 as opposed to using the bypass. So we just need to be prepared, I think, for some things that could happen. What you see in front of you is what I got. I pushed out to all the first responders. We will put out a smart 911 notification Thursday afternoon to do that, to alert people for that as well.
Maybe you said this, I misunderstood, Jerry, but they've built a new bridge at this location, right? And what they're
Correct.
tearing out is the old one.
Correct.
So the traffic pattern when they get done on Brownsburg there won't change. Okay, great. Thank you.
The new bridge and all the bridges that they will be building over 71 are going to be higher, and I think they're also adding pedestrian walkways on the edges. They're making them bigger, better, if you will.
You think we can get one of those here? Pedestrian walkway over?
Probably ought to ask the highway engineer about that, sir.
Mr. Vogel's in constant contact with them all.
Are they putting up tour signs that will lead people?
I hope so, but they don't necessarily call my office all the time. I happen to be on the distro list to get these things, but they don't necessarily extend the courtesy to call me and let me know what's going on. But we certainly hope so. Dispatcher Director Keel and I had that discussion this morning. We hope they start putting out. Oh, and Chief Turner from South Oldham as well.
Are you going to talk about the burn ban also?
Yes, sir.
Downs.
The state is closing a road in Crestwood, Pee Wee Valley area, and they've had the detour signs up and covered for no less than 14 days. So yes. So I don't want to kill your optimism, but the chances of them putting up many detour signs for this is probably not. They'll probably put the 2 electronic signs up at each one of the entrances, but that's it.
Certainly hoping they are. I'll reach out to the garage here in Oldham County, see if they've been directed to do anything.
It'd be really nice if they could put a sign at Railroad Avenue and 22. That would, an electronic sign saying this is not a crossing, no matter what your GPS says. That may not be the right terminology to use, but you get my drift.
Stand, sir.
What about just flat out closing that crossing during this event so that no one gets in there?
It is a state highway. They would, I don't know if they.
And that's I-71, so.
Right. And of course, it would be by signage, or barricades, if you will, because Chief Smith wouldn't have the manpower to have somebody stationed there, nor would I expect that to happen. But I can also ask him about that, if you will.
As though it's at night. If it were during the day, and that's not optimal, but.
M to 6 a.m., still a long time.
Right now, my understanding is there's about 12 to 13,000 trucks a day that go through Oldham County. All it takes is one to get stuck, and it's a problem. So it might be worth, we just need to talk about this. And I know the chief had said he's going to have a couple extra people on. Is that correct? Did I understand you correctly? Right. They're going to pay for some off-duty people. But still, it seems convoluted getting through Crestwood there, I guess. Or
yes. And
Veterans Parkway, come up 22, go to Veterans Parkway, and then back down to the interstate.
Yes, sir. And we just received this detour map today. So,
But I don't know. I'm just talking off the top of my head here. What would be your reaction to closing railroad for the evening?
that has been a suggestion just for normal times, Judge.
I know, but considering that we're going to have all this traffic coming right past that intersection there,
I will reach out to them and see what their suggestion is on there.
Agent Harrison.
Thank you. I know it's because of the width of the lines, but I can't tell whether they're taking the traffic all the way over to 146. Why not just leave it on 22?
Well, that's actually 146 until you get to the intersection in Crestwood. Then it turns to 22.
Understand that. But if you look at it, I can't tell, except from the scale of it, it looks like they make them cross the railroad twice. They're both crossings.
No, they're not crossing the railroad at all.
No, okay, good. Okay, that is the width of the line.
Yes.
All right, got it. Thank you.
Magistrate Dye.
This is my backyard. Everyone should keep this map because the next time Jerry comes up and talks to us, it's either going to be when they blow the bridge at Hounds Lane or at Chamberlain Lane, which will be the same situation occurs. Now, I don't know what the schedule is on that, but those two bridges have to come down too. And to me, you're in touch with these people. I don't know why they don't have, why they don't use 329 or Covered Bridge Road out to 42. I know that's a longer detour, but maybe you could get. That's still not. That's really a better direct option to 42.
42? Well, you've got all your commercial traffic, your semis. Some of the curves on Covered Bridge Road are kind of dicey.
I don't know. If I was driving a semi between 22 and 329, I'm not exactly sure where I'd go with that. But I'm just saying for an option, But here again, it's going to be a difficult situation. But we've only got to put up with it for these 2 days and 4 more. So
The proposal, Director Nart made the comment, their GPS is going to take them different directions. I mean, they're not handing this out at the pick up your trailer on Friday afternoon. So
no, the first they see of this detour is when they see the sign flashing that says detour.
yeah, you're right.
I think the best way to handle this is just to stay home at night. Saturday and Sunday night.
Yes, sir.
Judge, it's going to make the Iron Man seem like a walk in the park. Crestwood's going to be awful.
Magistrate
traffic going through there.
Likens.
Yes, Judge. I was just thinking about all the people in Crestwood that trying to get on the expressway over there, and they get all the way down to the expressway and have to turn around and come back. So, that's an issue. If somebody's going
again, I'll discuss. Hopefully, maybe there's some signage maybe one of those electronic lighted signs that'll say that Interstate 71 southbound or northbound. Well, southbound is one you have to worry about. Is closed because if they're going down 329 to get on the northbound, they're already past the way. So it's only the southbound one, which is on Saturday night, that they'll have the issue.
if they're in Crestwood and going to get on the expressway,
And coming from the other side.
get all the way down to the expressway and have to turn around and come back.
Measure Greenwell.
Judge, in all seriousness, we'd have to have the blessing of the State Highway Department, Kentucky Transportation, but why couldn't we position officers that want to get some overtime at Old 329 there off Veterans Memorial and let them only have local access, and that would keep them from even going down there to try to turn. And then secondly, put somebody at Railroad Avenue in a car with blue lights on. And I mean, this would all have to be done with Transportation Department's blessing, but I see that as an easy way of, avoiding some of these potential problems.
Right. Well, I think the chief has been in contact with them. They pay for extra people. And our 12-hour shifts have us fairly strong.
We could put more officers out. That's not an issue. We can do it on overtime. But right now, Neil Johnson and Sergeant Brown are meeting with them. That 2:00 meeting. All the issues you've talked about, we intend to bring up to them. So if we have to shut Railroad Avenue down, I say just shut it down. Because we get a heavy wrecker in there to move a semi.
It's 8 hours. It's not a lifetime.
And at nighttime, they've actually picked good hours, quite frankly. Considerably less traffic at 10 o'clock to 6 in the morning. But still the potential for an incident occurs. But we'll know more when this meeting's over with. If it's troublesome, we'll let you know. If it's going the way we hope it'll go, we should be able to handle it okay.
And I commend you for being here with this meeting and not at that meeting. So that was
I was
part.
at the other one. He gets the headache. I get to come here. You go down and argue with the state traffic.
Hawkins?
We should expect noise during the night on those 2 nights as well, Mr. Nart. Demolition in general. Mm-hmm.
Volume of it, man.
All right, thank you. I guess we're trying to put out the alert, so see what happens here.
Why don't we just say that Judge Vogel said the railroad said close it?
I can't close State Highway, I don't think. All right.
The next item is we are approaching May 1st, and May 1st through September 30th is our annual burning restrictions that are imposed by the EPA. Just wanted to remind all magistrates of that. We also will be putting out notification via Smart 911 and a press release, if you will, to the Oldham area. During that time period, you cannot burn yard waste. You can never burn garbage to begin with or that type of thing, but you cannot burn yard waste. If you have a constituent that wants to know what exactly can happen, the ordinance is posted on the Fiscal Court webpage, and my number is on the Fiscal Court webpage as well. Have them call me. Discussions?
Thank you.
And the last item, sir, I saw on your agenda you had a COVID update. I can't give an update for the health department. I am on a meeting with them every week. Bottom line, if somebody wants a vaccine, they can get it. Age 16 and older. Go to the website, sign up for an appointment. You will get your vaccine.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Another public announcement here, I believe, and welcome Deputy Mike Meese. You can mask on or off, whatever your pleasure is.
Judge, Court, wanted to announce that on April the 24th, this Saturday, in partnership with the DEA and Healthy Oldham County, that the Oldham County Police Department and Sheriff's Office will be conducting the Drug Take Back program as part of the National Drug Back Take Back Day initiative. We're going to have, again, 3 locations this year, and that will be at the LaGrange Fire Department Station 2 in Buckner, at 3637 West Highway 146 in Buckner. Also at the North Oldham Fire Department at 1660 Highway 1793, which is across from the North School campus. And then the Oldham County Police Department at 1855 North Highway 393. Numbers just came out for the state of Kentucky that in the last year, opioid overdose deaths have increased 50%. And Kentucky is actually 3rd nationally in opioid deaths. So the drugs are disposed of in an EPA-approved manner and would encourage people to clean out their shelves for any unused medicines that could be lost, stolen, or abused. Additionally, it keeps our waterways safe. It's good for Oldham County. It's going to be from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Again, this Saturday, April the 24th.
Logs.
How many pounds did y'all collect last year? I mean, it was an unbelievable amount.
Every year we think, we've probably, gotten our largest quantities turned in, and every year it surprises us. Last year we had almost 400 pounds turned in. That's a lot of Oxycontin and prescribed opioids. So. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate, your office and our police department managing this program to get these drugs off the street. Is there anyone else here who would like to address the fiscal court? Seeing no one, I'll close the public comment and go on to the bid openings now for our GIS detailed design engineering for the broadband service that we are. Yeah, I believe we have submissions from 4 different companies. We asked for a request for qualifications. There aren't going to be any numbers in here on how much you charge because we will interview each of these groups. The purpose here is to have a global information system that puts out our middle mile rings 1 and 2 that we have looked at. We're trying to provide a broadband service county-wide and get the mechanism set up so that everybody in our county has access to 1 or more broadband providers, high access, not low speed, but high access broadband. The first submission here is from Celicom, also known as Open Fiber Kentucky, 1700 East Point Parkway in Louisville. The second submission today is from HBK Engineering, 921 West Van Buren Street, Chicago. Third submission is from Zoom Broadband Services in Lexington. The fourth submission is from Lit Communities of Chelsea, Alabama. So we'll give those back to Melissa now, and our broadband committee will interview these groups and determine where we go from here. Thank you,
Judge.
Magistrate Harrison.
Judge, I would encourage everybody involved in this initiative to try to come up with a different name for it, because the acronym GIS has been around this county for 20 plus years, and it's been around the country and the world longer than that. And the standard is Geographic Information Systems. Now we're going to come in with a different entity with the same acronym. And those of us who have been working with GIS for that period of time, when you say GIS, we're thinking geographic and not global. So maybe we can massage that and come up with a different acronym. I think it would save us headaches in the future.
Good idea. Magistrate Hawkins.
Judge, you answered one of my questions. These RFQs will go to the Broadband Committee. Who is on the Broadband Committee?
Broadband Committee is Deputy Judge Nuss, myself, Magistrate Hounds, and we also have a couple of outside people that are experienced in the area to talk about. We're certainly willing to, however, sit down and share and discuss the information with everybody.
People from Lit Communities also on this Broadband Committee?
No. The Lit Communities has been our consultant to this point, and they helped us prepare the request for qualifications. I believe Lit Community is interested in continuing on with us, but we may take a detour depending on what we learn during the evaluation process. Any other questions about this? So we're excited to be able to continue moving forward. I want to emphasize that it's a briar's patch of questions and circumstances. It's not just moving from A to B. We're trying to do this in a way that we understand, move forward cautiously so that we don't make a mistake. There are several levels of information that have been given to us about this is best, that's best. The entire delivery of broadband services countrywide is evolving. There are companies in this trying to get out to people everywhere. The FCC has auctioned off certain parts of our county that Spectrum bid on. Might be considered to be a reverse auction because their bid to handle northeast Oldham County or to try to bring services out there, they bid and they get some government support for it. But the bid was the cheapest, not the highest. Normally, your highest bidder gets something. In this case, it was your lowest bidder. We also had some interest in our county from, a company called SpaceX, the Elon Musk company that intends to deliver satellites to home high-speed broadband service. At least two people have told me they signed up for it already in the county. People who deliver fiber optic communication, they'll say that through the air is not quite as good. So we're learning this and step by step, and it's complicated. So we hope to have these companies give us an additional and rounded perspective, and we're not playing off one company against another. We're trying to learn from everyone and make a good decision. But all members of the court are invited to read these submissions, and you can sit in on our meetings if you like to. Mr. Harrison.
Judge, I took the opportunity a couple of weeks ago to take the representative from Spectrum on a tour of the area that they've got over in the northeast part of the county, and the two surprising pieces of information came out of that. One is this is termed as fiber to the door and not fiber to the street. I envisioned they were just going to run the fiber lines up and down the highways, but no, they're going to run it from the road into the house. They literally mean fiber to the door, and that's a term of their contract with the government, which I think is great. The other thing is they're not constricted to following the boundary of the area designated by the FCC. If they go past a house on the other side of the street, they'll probably run fiber into it, even though it's on the other side of the technical line of their district. And it may be in places where they will leave the street and go into a subdivision because there's nobody else there. May not get the whole subdivision, but to get some of it. So we're as close as we've ever been. It's going to be better than I thought it was going to be. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on now. And the next item on today's agenda is are the bills to be paid. And when you're ready, we'll do that.
Judge, I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Discussion? Yes, sir.
What's this camera on the wave tower? What's that all about?
We were offered an opportunity by a vendor that's on the wave tower that had, technicians that are climbing the tower, and they happened to ask us. They said, "Well, if you're interested in having a camera up on that tower, we'd be happy to place it for you at no charge." So we thought it was a good opportunity to get a camera up there. We bought a camera with 40 times zoom capability, and it's just it'd be kind of like our courthouse cam, an opportunity to move it. We can be able to move it, shift it around, take pictures of the county from an unusual angle that normally can't be seen.
Okay, just curious. Thank you.
It's not to spy on anyone or do anything like that.
Go there, Judge. You might be telling too much now.
I know. Well, it's just to get some scenic views of Oldham County that are unique and we can have people enjoy. All right, any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Time now for the budget transfers discussion, and Melissa Horn, County Treasurer, will lead us through that.
We have wrapped up the books for the third quarter. And at this time, I'm going to ask you to approve budget line transfers in the total of $401,079.08. I would like to note that we have done the best we can to project budget transfers deficits that will be needed through the end of the fiscal year. That's why this number is perhaps larger than you're used to seeing.
Moved and seconded, we approve these line item transfers in the budget. Are there any questions or discussion about this?
Well, Melissa came to the Finance Committee meeting today, and we had a short discussion. We'd already seen these numbers to some degree. This is, for lack of better words, is customary. We do, we do these every so often. And Melissa told us that they did the best they could. They sharpened the pencil best they could. Hopefully, this will encompass any of the different shortfalls, and we even it all out and everything be just right. So I'll make that motion for $401,079.08. I
think we did have that motion. You already made that motion once.
Right. Okay. I just want to make sure that the number was in there. And as usual, it was very Melissa and Stan did a very concise job here. So.
All right. Is there any further discussion about these transfers? Okay. Hearing none, and all in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now, Mr. Clark, Stan Clark, will present our request for audit.
Just to update you, obviously we have to have an audit every year of the fiscal court. And the state has a ruling that 1 out of every 4 years, they perform the audit. And they're currently auditing last year, June 30th of 2020. And we hope to have that finished in the next 5 to 6 weeks.
The reason it's 1 out of every 4 years is it takes them at least a 4 year to get it done. About 4 years to get it done.
To that, the previous 3 years, we used the firm of Roy Hunter at significant cost savings, and also when we use a private CPA, as they refer to them as, audits get completed. They're out of the field in September, October at the latest. We have our audit in hand very timely in November. This is a standard engagement letter that we've signed before. It basically lays out what their responsibilities are and what our responsibilities and what we represent. It puts on us, that Melissa and I will prepare those financial statements, be responsible for them, and we do a lot of the work. And they truly audit us. The fee, which includes a single audit, because we will have and have had federal grants above the limit, is $17,500 in this contract, and it's asking the judge for permission for the judge to sign the engagement letter.
Second.
Moved and seconded that I sign the agreement, engagement letter with Roy Hunter for the current audit. And
it's for the audit of fiscal court for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021.
Is there any, Magistrate Greenwell?
Dan, what is audit costs that the state auditor performs?
We are scared to death right now. We have no idea. I'm going to be honest.
Typically in the past, not.
Magistrate Likens. Magistrate Harrison. Magistrate Greenwell.
Yes.
Magistrate Tice. Magistrate Hawkins.
Yes.
Hawkins. Magistrate Hawkins. Magistrate Logston.
Yes.
Again?
Vogel.
All right. That was a unanimous consent from the fiscal court. Thank you very much. The next item here today is a Parks and Recreation contract, Magistrate Tice.
Can't hear you guys speak up.
On the contract with the company that's called Run Sign Up.
Or get closer to it because I can't hear you.
A little bit. And he's wants to sign up with using a company called Run Sign Up. It's new, and I'm going to let you take it from there.
I'm asking for the court to give me permission to sign a contract. It's an electronic website. It's for registrations for races. All of our 5K races, soon mini marathon. I will go through this website, and everybody who wants to run in those races will register through that website. There are fees involved, but I'm passing those fees off to the participants. And then we will get a check from Run Sign Up every 2 weeks, once a month, however I set it up, for the registration fee. So I'm asking for court to give me permission to sign that contract and use this website.
That motion.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded that we sign up with the company to keep track of participants and runs. Okay. Magistrate Hawkins.
Hi, Gary. What benefit does this have over the other one, which I believe was active?
Active is kind of dying out. Run Sign Up has taken their place, and pretty much everybody's using it. I use it myself. I've run in a few races, and all the registrations are through Run Sign Up. Mini marathon coming up through Run Sign Up, so it gets out in front of tens of thousands of runners across the country, across the world. I use it every once in a while. If I'm going on vacation to Florida or Tennessee, I'll look and see if there's a run in the area and sign up and run. So it gets us out there and brings in new people to the county and everything.
All the fees will be paid for by the participants?
Yes.
Mr. Carter. Yes, I reviewed this contract and I did not approve it. And one of the reasons is if you ever have a problem and the litigations take place in New Jersey. Requires mandatory arbitration under the arbitration laws of New Jersey. We certainly don't want to be litigating anything in New Jersey. Secondly, this is a Delaware corporation doing business in New Jersey. All this information that we're putting out there, people in Oldham County have signed up for this. Some server that's owned by a Delaware corporation operating. I don't know how secure it is. As a county attorney, I can't. Well, I was about to ask why you hadn't signed this. Magistrate Harrison.
Wouldn't this fall under caveat emptor, buyer beware? I mean, this is being done all over the world, so the people participate in it, they understand what they might have to do if something goes wrong. Aren't a lot of corporations signed up in Delaware?
Sorry?
A lot of corporations in the country started in Delaware?
Most of them are, but this operates out of the state of New Jersey.
Okay.
It's a Delaware corporation operating out of the state of New Jersey. Home office is in New Jersey. And yes, I don't know how secure their servers are. Putting all this personal information out there, somebody's server, we don't know where it is or how secure it is.
This isn't a new company. They've been doing race registration for 5 or so years. So they've been around. It's not like a brand new company that's fly by the night. I've been registered with them at least 5 years. I've done races through this company and registered. They have my credit card number. I mean, it's as secure as any other company out there. I mean, they can be hacked just like anybody else. I buy things on Amazon. I put my credit card in there. Amazon could be hacked. I mean, it's up to the customer that wants to register for this race to decide if they want to put their credit card information and all the other information on this site to register. And it's being done. I mean, You can go on there and look at their website, and you'll see thousands of races all across the country, across the world, and they're getting participants. The mini marathon in Louisville, thousands of runners every year use this server.
Manager Hawkins.
You know, when you go on the Oldham County Schools website and then you click on something and you're directed to wherever else you go, would it be possible to put, when you're leaving the Parks and Recreation site, or wherever you're going to advertise it at, to have a little thing pop up to say you're now leaving the secure website of the Oldham County government to now register for?
There is. I would need some guidance on how to do that. But yes, I'm sure there's.
Maybe that could be
like a disclaimer.
Disclaimer, right? You're now leaving Oldham County government website to sign up on Run, whatever it is, runsignup.com.
Measure Greenwell.
Judge, I told people this in the Finance Committee meeting that I've talked to somebody that's used this for several years and has never had a problem, and it runs in some fairly major races. I've talked to somebody else that administers a race, and he's been using this for several years, and once again has no problems or hasn't heard of anybody having any problems with it. It is akin to, I think, ordering something on Amazon and giving your credit card number, and yes, it's out there, but all of our numbers are out there anyway.
Magistrate Dye.
This was brought up in Finance Committee today. We addressed Mr. Carter's issues as far as the one involving the secure site. Gary has told us that it was a redirect, that the Oldham County Parks and Recreation, a part of the Oldham County government, we never take or never know anyone's Social Security, credit card information, correct? Never comes within our grasp, so to speak. So we had said, well, since we never touch it, then we don't feel like that would be a problem. And of course, I caution the group to understand that Mr. Carter is not saying that this contract is good, bad, or indifferent. He's looking at it from a point of law. And so we did look at that and decide that since it's a redirect, that particular situation probably didn't have a lot of merit to it. But anybody can sue anybody anytime they want. But that's why we moved it out of committee and brought it into the front of the court for them to make the actual decision.
Measure Downs.
Judge, one is that I just pulled the website up and it does show a secure link. It shows as an HTTPS, so it does have governances for being a secure website. Not that that makes a difference, but other websites have the same security, and you can go through and look at the security. We also did talk about, Magistrate Dye didn't bring this up, about it being a Delaware corporation, and that we would have to, if we had an issue, we would have to have that in a Delaware court. But we brought up, if we have an issue, we're going to know about it, and we may lose one race worth of income, but then we would no longer do business with the company. We understand what the exposure is, and unfortunately, Kentucky laws aren't conducive for people to want to be organized in Kentucky. So we're going to have to, we do business with Delaware corporations on an irregular basis, I'm sure. I mean, it just happens.
It's a Delaware corporation. It does business in the state of New Jersey. Its home office is in the state of New Jersey.
Okay.
Everything would be litigated in the state of New Jersey and under the laws of the state of New Jersey. That's my only objection to that.
I understand. Makes sense.
Are you saying, John, that I heard what you said. Now I'm not trying to say, are you opposed to us entering into this agreement?
Sorry?
Are you opposed to enter the court? Frankly, I'm a little disturbed if I have something
not brought to my attention that the county attorney had not signed off on, that there was controversy about it before we got into the meeting here. These things should have been ironed out before we got to this meeting. I signed these contracts, and I wondered why your signature wasn't on there. I was unaware that we had something in here that Mr. Carter hadn't agreed to, and I don't think that should happen, honestly. Are you saying that you're opposed, that you feel that the court should not enter this?
I wouldn't enter into any contract that subjects us to liability in court in another state. Requires mandatory arbitration, which under most arbitration laws, it requires that you have a 3-person panel to arbitrate it, and you have to pay for all the expenses. We probably won't have a bit of trouble with this, but I'm just saying that could be a problem. The other thing is, it's true, it's probably a secure gets hacked, and like these big sites have a lot of people concerned about that we'd be putting people that don't know that their stuff is on a site that's secured.
Well, to someone, Magistrate Logston's question, when you buy something from anybody on the internet, you generally have no idea where the company you're buying from is incorporated. Am I correct on that? Would you say? In other words, I buy something on Amazon. I might be buying it directly from Amazon. I might be buying it from some retailer who is working with Amazon.
In China.
I understand your point here, and I'm not sure if we're bringing any more.
I know what I'm doing when I buy on Amazon. People that are signing up for this don't know.
Gary, what kind of information do you have to reveal? Just a credit card?
Credit card, name, age, address, email.
Not Social Security, anything like that?
No.
Would you, John, would you say that the other people, let's say, for instance, we bought some stuff for dispatch. We bought a lot of electronic equipment. Was that any dispute settled under the laws of Kentucky? Have we ever done this before, where we're buying things from people that require us to go to other states to
change the one on dispatch because it was under the laws of other states. I recall the company that they went with changed it to Kentucky.
Well, I mean, is it inconceivable that we ask this company to change that provision to deal under the laws of the state of Kentucky before we do business with them?
I've had.
If a person signs up for this, they're going to check a box somewhere in the sign up that says that they accept the terms and conditions of the website. I mean, you may not do that every time, but the initial time that you register, not me, because I'm not going to be running a race, but the initial time that I would register for that race, I can go through the process and see right now I'm pretty sure there's going to be a box that says, do you agree to the terms and conditions of the website? I don't know, Mr. Carter, if that exonerates the county from liability, but it would seem it would be a roadblock to help protect the county.
Mr. Greenwell.
Judge, in a normal year, there would be 15,000 people running this weekend in the mini marathon and the marathon. It won't be that many this weekend, but every single one of those 15,000 people have signed up through this portal to run in the mini marathon. And Boston Marathon, I believe, has the same portal. So, I mean, we're talking 50,000 people. I don't know. So,
Magistrate Hawkins.
I'd like to amend my motion to include a disclaimer when you leave a Oldham County government website and you're directed to run or sign up that a disclaimer would be included that you click on before you go. If Magistrate Greenwell is okay with amending the motion to include a disclaimer.
I'll amend my second.
Agent Harrison. Gary, is this same technology used in Ironman competitions? Do you know?
On Ironman.
Two local attorneys that run in a lot of those. Be interesting to hear that spin on it.
I mean, it's a possibility, but USA Triathlon, they're so large that they may have their own registration. And some of those you have to run in other events to qualify, and they just kind of slide you. I mean, I don't know the answer to that one.
You should die.
Let's go back to this thing about the Amazon a minute ago. On our payables, on the last 2 or 3 pages, there's always a lot of credit card purchases, and a lot of them are to internet vendors, not to local retail big box stores. So I don't know, when you buy something from Amazon, you really don't know where the origination point is, where it's being shipped out of, what type of a percentage they're slicing off the top. That's really not my point here but Ms. Horn, could you step up to the mic for just a moment, please? And this is just for point of information. This is not to confirm it one way or the other. If we checked everybody's where they are originated from and their home office and all that, how many people out of all the people that we deal with the county, their offices, their companies were set up in Kentucky and their home office in Kentucky? How many people would we, if we followed that distinct rule, black and white, how many people would we lose right off the top?
I would say less than half of our vendors are domiciled, I guess, in the state of Kentucky.
And I'm going to ask you just an opinion.
Includes magistrate, many that are foreign and have registered with the Secretary of State as foreign.
You're very versed in IT, much more than myself. What would be your opinion of this particular contract? Is not counting Mr. Carter's opinion, but I see what is a catch-22 here. I understand what Mr. Carter's saying, but I understand that it's a redirected site. I really deep down, I don't see where there's a problem. I mean, for example, our HSA accounts just got hacked, from Humana, so it can happen. And they got real information on us. They just did what they say. So I'm just trying to, work this out to where it's the best thing for everybody involved. But if we follow the hard, fast rule of Kentucky-only corporations founded and ran here, we're gonna slow down the business of government. So, thank you.
I don't think that's the question. I think the question is if there is any type of legal dispute involving this corporation, it's not settleable. That's a word, or in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that's the objection here, and I think would you say that's the case with most of the people, or half the people we deal with? I don't know. We've had this issue before. So.
I would hazard that guess. Yes, I mean you look at AT&T, you look at Windstream, you look at you could probably go through the payables list and highlight very quickly the ones that are not located in Kentucky.
And we would have to, okay, I mean,
so if we want
in Kentucky, is the case adjudicatable or in Kentucky?
I don't know, sir.
I think, I'm very uncomfortable. I understand they want something more expeditious to sign people up with here, but I'm very uncomfortable going against the advice of our county attorney.
And first of all, I'd like to apologize that you weren't aware of this ahead of time. I asked that it be brought to finance so that we would discuss it there, assuming you would be at that meeting. So I apologize. That is my fault, Judge. But if we can address the credit card information, if you look at Section 3 or Paragraph 3 of their agreement, they are going to be PCI compliant. And
Add to that, if you go and sign up, which
sign up.
knows how many emails I'm going to get to run a race.
Did you sign up early?
I did. Our commitment to privacy. They've got a whole section, but it does require you to click a field that says that by checking this box, I certify that I'm 18 years of older and that I agree to the privacy policy. And then you can pull up the privacy policy. It talks about how they collect the data to use for the race information. And then we do not sell, trade or otherwise transfer outside parties information except for to the event organization. So in other words, they're not going to sell your data to a third party. And there's a whole data security thing in here. I mean, I understand the hang up, but we're not the only ones and we're not the first ones to use this. The Metro government's using it and others. It seems like that we should be cautious, but I think we may be okay.
All right. Are there any other comments about this? We have a motion. Motion and a second. All right. So our basically the only thing that could go wrong here is that somebody would hack somebody's card and
Run sign up is
got it off of it through our site. We would.
It's not through our site. They're already stepping off of our site to go to run sign up.
Okay.
So if they get hacked, run sign up is the one who has to make it right.
We're going to, based on Ms. Hawkins' amendment agreed to by Mr. Greenwell, we're going to put wording right next to the link that says you are leaving Oldham County.
Your pop-up window.
What does it say?
Say you are now leaving Oldham County government
website and being redirected to runsignup.com. And it's a disclaimer so that if somebody clicks on it, they know, okay, I'm now leaving the government website and going to a whole nother website to sign up for this race.
When you go to run sign up, I mean, it clearly says run sign up. It doesn't even spell out, it can't even spell Oldham County. So,
Judge.
All right, Mr. Logston.
I have no problem with this, but I'm not going to vote for it if my county attorney doesn't give me the go ahead to do it. I mean, every time we put our credit card in the machine, in the gas machine, we're always subject to getting it stolen and stuff like that. But I can't go against what the county attorney tells us to do. So it's just my vote on it.
Waffling.
No, I'm not. If John said go ahead with it, I'm fine with it.
But you readily admit that if you put your credit card in a machine, it might be hacked.
Take care of the county when I take care of myself. I'm looking after the county's interest now, Steve. It's not about me.
Judge Harrison.
Could anybody explain to me our exposure? I mean, if there's litigation, what are we getting sued for?
you can be sued for anything.
Done to generate liability.
That would be on the plaintiff.
Sue anybody for anything, right?
Mr. Carter,
That's part of the problem. Nobody can tell from this contract what our
well, I thought you were saying not to sign it because of that. I mean, what is the liability? I understand liability in tort cases and accidents and cars, but this, it escapes me. I can't find it.
I mean, if it comes down to the race and they get injured or something in the race, then that's on us. But registration, that would be on them. Because, I mean, they're handling all the registration, all the money, and all the information. I'm just putting on a race. So, I mean, if something happens during the race, then yes, it falls back on us. But if something happens with their money or registration, then it falls on them.
Even in the race, they'd have to prove unsafe conditions or something.
Is the fact that maybe if they don't send us money, send us the correct money, then that might be where there's some issue. And if it comes down to that, and I noticed, after a couple of raises, I'm not getting what I should be getting from them, that'll be a phone call to find out why not. If I can't get a good answer, I'll stop using them.
There is also paragraph 13, which talks about indemnification. So they're going to hold us harmless.
We have to agree to hold them harmless.
Correct.
Is this the only company that does this?
No, this is the most popular one right now. I mean, we're using active.com right now. Well, I haven't done any races for a while, but they're not as widespread. You don't get as many people like you would get with Run Sign Up.
Okay, well, we've got the horns of a dilemma here. I think the majority of the court wants to go with this contract and give it a try. Mr. Carter is rightfully so brought our attention to an issue that he thinks is important, and I think is important as well. And I appreciate that he has done his job to guard our interests, and I think that's he's to be commended for that. And even if everybody has a little more comfort with it than he does, it's still, he has raised the issue and put us on guard about this. So I do appreciate that. So, all right, Denise, you want to call the roll, please?
Magistrate Hawkins. Yes. Magistrate Harrison.
Yes.
Magistrate Likens. Magistrate Tice. Magistrate Hounds.
Yes.
Magistrate Greenwell. Yes. Magistrate Logston. Magistrate Dye. Judge Vogel.
Motion carries 6-3. All right. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is personnel action. Ms. Shaw.
Afternoon. In front of you this afternoon is the hiring of our Aquatic Center Supervisor and Recreation Programmer. It'll be Catherine Baines at $19.75 an hour, effective on the 26th of this month.
All right, moved and seconded that Catherine Baines be hired as Aquatic Center Supervisor and Recreation Programmer. This is a full-time position at $19.75 per hour. Discussion, Magistrate Hounds.
Is this a 37.5-hour week employee?
Probably more in the summer. It's a
Math and the budget doesn't match the salary. The 2021-22 budget doesn't match the salary.
what was put in there for this budget.
It needs to be verified. Match.
It's less than what it was, so this salary is. I don't check the budget for, we didn't have a pool open last year, so.
I have the number.
All right, okay.
Hans, did you include, when you did your math, the aquatics director and the programmer and the assistant? Is this in lieu of an assistant parks director?
Or assistant, right. This is.
Be hers or his salary moving to this.
Blank in the column, and the number, the hourly rate does not match. It's a salaried position. It doesn't matter if it's a salaried position or if it's an hourly position in the recreation manager or the aquatics manager, either one of them match. Not you.
Called me short. I got it. All right, I'll check it. I guess I have to check that. What is the difference? If you don't.
$3,000 and some change.
The scale, what the offer is. So I can, what would you like me to do? I can.
We have to go forward. The person.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to put a monkey in the. I'm not trying to put a wrench in it. I'm just saying that for next year, the numbers doesn't match. This year, we've only got 3 months to worry about. We're good for this year. 21, 22, we're not good.
I see what you're saying. I got it.
Have to be adjusted here before now. First meeting in May. Okay. Any other discussion about the position here? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item is going to be the code enforcement position. And I'm going to ask that I would like to reappoint Cindy Harbin to the Code Enforcement Board for a term that would expire on the 18th of May, 2024. And Cindy has been with us and done a really good job of leading that board and providing fair adjudication for the people that appear before the board.
Second that, Judge.
Any further discussion on that? Yes, sir.
Worked with her when I was on the Code Enforcement Board. She does do a great job. She's very much an asset to that to the Code Enforcement Board.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, I think you have one more, maybe in my book here, there was another piece of paper. I do want to bring this up, that we did receive a thank you from Mayor Black and the LaGrange City Council for the support for the Oldham County bus. The fiscal court provides $20,000 a year to help provide this bus service in LaGrange and the immediate surrounding area. They thought I read here 17,000 riders, and of course, the vast majority of these riders are people who do not have any other form of transportation other than walking, and so they appreciated our support for that and couldn't do their program without it. So I wanted to call that letter to everyone's attention. Now we're at the end of our meeting here, so we'll see if we have any public. Pardon?
Do you have somebody from that organization come and talk to us sometime about the bus service and where, telephone numbers and stuff like that? Because
sure.
I'm not so sure everybody knows about that in the county.
What's that?
I'm not so sure everyone knows about this in the county. So,
right. Well, not everybody would. It's operates in LaGrange, but where the concentration of people is. Okay, but we'll have someone come and talk to Human Resources about that. Now we'll see if Magistrate Tice, we've switched seats today because Magistrate Tice need a little more leg room because of his boot. We thank Magistrate Logston for being willing to sit on the other side of the dais today and see what it's like over there in that neighborhood. And,
hostile down there.
It's hot.
Hostile down there.
Hostile down there. Yeah.
I want to go back home.
I'll be back, and I'll go back home.
Well, he's going to get that boot off pretty soon, right? So,
Just after sympathy.
Extra Tice, do you have any final comments here?
One thing I want to say today is that Chairman right now at the Parks Committee taking the trees down in Westport. We've gone over there and working on a comprehensive plan that hopefully in a short couple of months, let's say 3 or 4 months, that will have something that people can view lay that out there so if anybody wants to know or we haven't heard anything about it, they'll at least know off of our job assignment is right up front. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Manager Dye.
I'd just like to say thank you to the judge for the other day. They had a building committee meeting, and they invited the rest of the magistrates to come as observers, so to observe the rule of the quorum in regards to the animal control building. This is something that he's heard me complain about more than once, that we get here to court, and all of a sudden I'm looking at a large expenditure, and it's the first time I've ever seen anything about it. So I do appreciate you doing that, and I think that's a good standard that we should follow in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Magistrate Hawkins.
Like Magistrate Ty said, he's now the chair of the Parks Committee, and I support him in that, and I know he's going to do a great job. That's the only comment I have today, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. Magistrate Hounds.
I think we skipped the last public comment if you want.
I'm sorry.
Yep. We can do it.
Didn't mean to.
We can do it at the end if you want to.
Anybody here who wanted to you could break here and go ahead and do it, I guess. I didn't mean to short you, Tim.
I won't take you too long. I just wanted, last week was Telecommunicators Week, and there was a lot of agencies that sent us some nice goodies and things like that. Too numerous to mention. The Fiscal Court also sent us some nice things on Friday to make us a little fatter, and I just wanted to say thank you all.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Anybody else who wanted to address the public comment here? Okay, I don't see anybody. Now we'll go on with Magistrate Hounds.
Judge, just a quick comment about the burn ban that's going to be starting here soon. Please be careful if you are going to be burning. It looks like, I think, was it tomorrow night we're supposed to get possibly significant snowfall, so that'll, tonight, is it tonight? Okay, well, that'll slow some people down in burning, but we always get this rush towards the end of the month of April. And just be cognizant of that. With the wind blowing, it does make for a dicey situation if you do try to burn your limbs and such. There are other means that you can get rid of some of that yard waste and such. We do have great garbage collection in Oldham County. You can fill that tote as full as you can possibly get it, and they'll pick it up and take it. Also, too, please be cognizant of the people that are walking and riding bikes. I don't know why some people think some roads are better than others to travel riding their bike, but there are groups of people that are riding through Oldham County, and I know we have to share the road, but it goes both ways. The bikers need to share the road also with us and not ride to and such wide so you can't pass them. But just be cognizant of that when you're going in both directions. I had an incident on 146 the other day where people were riding up 146 right around our detention center, and it made it for a dicey situation because people are obviously in a hurry trying to pass, and just ask people to be careful.
Thank you. Magistrate Greenwell.
Judge, thanks to Jerry Nard for the notification about the burn ban, but I just want to make a point that agricultural is still exempted from this and that they are allowed to burn year-round, but they have to notify dispatch that they're going to have a controlled burn and tell them when it starts and when it finishes, and we understand that.
Magistrate Harrison.
Thank you, Judge. A couple of quick notes here on military days. The 23rd, coming up later this week, is Army Reserve birthday. Then next week on the 30th is National Military Bratz Day. That's not a derogatory term. That's somebody who's a child of a person serving on active duty. And they just, for years, been called a military brat, but that's their day. And then the entire month of May is a month of military caregivers and also National Military Appreciation Month. I normally try to stay away from personal notes, but it's hard to do on this occasion. Earlier, there was discussion here about the drug take-back and the drugs in Oldham County. Please pay attention to what people are taking and not taking. We have a serious and severe drug problem in this county. It's not just here, it's in Jefferson County. My kids grew up in Pewee Valley, then they moved over to the Goshen area. My youngest child was introduced to drugs when he was 14 years old. Started with marijuana and got worse. He became an alcoholic. And 2 years ago today, he died from not a drug overdose, but from a drug that we believe he had gotten on the street to help him sleep, because it will put you to sleep. But this one killed him because it was laced with fentanyl. The people selling these drugs do not know what's in them. The people buying the drugs do not know what's in them. He probably could have bought it from somebody else and had a good night's sleep. But he got the wrong drug at the wrong time. We could see where he mixed it and cooked it at the kitchen sink. And the coroner said he was dead before he hit the floor. There's some really dangerous stuff out there. So pay attention to your kids, pay attention to who they're associating with, and try to get them to understand this is a deadly disease. Thank you.
Well, the court, we certainly continue to express our sympathy over the loss of your son. Didn't realize until right now it was 2 years ago today. I'll ask for 30 seconds of silence in memory of Chad Harrison. Thank you.
Thank you.
Magistrate Logston.
Yes, Judge. I have nothing against a sign up for the runners or the Parks Department for putting it on. That was not the issue. My issue is I have to follow what John Carter asked me to do, and he said he wasn't comfortable with it, so that's why I voted against it. But I have nothing against the Parks Department or what you're trying to do.
So. Magistrate Likens.
To echo Magistrate Logston's sentiments on that issue.
Thank you. I'd like to announce that today, actually happened yesterday, I swore in our two newest police officers, Alex Sadich and Morgan Roberts. They're on the street, I believe, today, and we're wishing them the best. Morgan is our first female officer in some time, and we actually have two more female officers at the Officer Candidate School or training facility in Richmond, and we have one additional male recruit there, and they'll be coming out of school fairly soon. So May 28th? May 28th. So we're going to be fully staffed at that point. So we're happy to have these people join our staff, and they are fine people, and I know they're going to do a good job serving our community. So with that, our meeting's 2 hours and 15 minutes. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye.